I'm ready, Freddy.
Yes, it's wake-up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
Where are the aliens? You are already sort of a cybernetic symbiote. Neural nets are taking over from regular programming. So you are connected.
Well, I guess I skipped one of the stories, but it's okay.
Okay.
It's okay because I'll just round it out later. This is Observer.com. And the headline here is Elon Musk's Neuralink brain implant technology is outdated, says BCI, that's brain computer interface expert.
Outdated?
Outdated.
How dare you?
What in the world is going on? Elon Musk's neurotech startup Neuralink has touted the idea that its wireless brain chip could allow people, especially those with neurological disorders, to perform various physical tasks with just their thoughts. The implantable chip, known as the brain-computer interface, BCI, has been demonstrated to work in animals in a series of highly publicized experiments. And the company is actively assembling a team to test it in humans. However, BCI industry insiders say that while some aspects of Neuralink's process are quite inventive, its core tech is actually more than a decade old. Quote, his team's approach in some areas are very innovative. The surgical approach with robotics, for example, is brilliant, but some of the things they have demonstrated are outdated, said Marcus Gerhardt, CEO of BlackRock Neurotech. No direct affiliation with BlackRock, the hedge fund company that manages, what, $10 trillion or $20 trillion of assets, but they share the name nonetheless. Salt Lake City-based medical tech company.
We've talked about these guys before.
We have, yep.
And they are kind of, I don't know, they are some sort of direct competition with Elon.
They are. While Neuralink has yet to obtain regulatory approval to test its device in humans, BlackRock Neurotech has implanted BCI devices in more than 30 patients through clinical studies, partnered with researchers around the world. Quote, showing a monkey do something or a pig do something is what the research community did 10 years ago, Gerhardt said. Wow, flexing. Quote, yeah. They probably feel really hardened by it because they did this 10 years ago, but they didn't get any profile. Then Elon comes along. He did it once and everybody was in awe. Wow. Jelly. Little jelly from the insiders. Academics.
Well, he's not wrong.
I know he's not wrong in terms of the facts, but it's the way that the community responded. They don't like Elon getting all the shine.
Well, it's funny because that's Elon's game. That's what he does.
Yeah, that's his old deal.
The electric cars, again, the history of the electric car is fascinating. Most cars used to be electric in like the early, 1900s. Plenty of cars were electric. So the idea of an electric car is not new. We knew we could make a car with electricity and charge it and do the whole thing 100 years ago before Elon did it. Same with, I don't know, same with like everything he does. Everything he does is stuff that's already been done. He just comes in, proves he can do it, and then convinces everybody he can do it better.
Do you know, I actually think Elon Musk gets his playbook from China in some ways. Didn't he partner with China on something? I forget what it was. Was it Tesla factory or something?
He didn't partner. He opened up a Tesla showroom in China, which was sort of signaling like, hey, I'll play ball.
Okay.
Which
so he's
people
friendly.
Didn't like.
Yeah, people didn't like that. I'm looking at an insider article from 2 days ago that says headline, Elon Musk is bending over backwards to please China's government and his pandering points to a dark future for Tesla. Anyway, yeah, I know there's a relationship, but doesn't it remind you of China the way he's just like, oh yeah, all this old stuff that exists, but we're just going to take it and make it my own.
Yeah, except for he takes old stuff and makes it better.
Sure.
China takes old stuff and they make it worse to make it cheaper and junkier.
And we didn't. I didn't bring the story, but there was that story out last couple days where China changed the ending of Fight Club. Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't hear about that specifically.
Changed it to suit their political agenda a little bit more, which is kind of interesting.
The end where they like blow up all the banks.
I think it was something like that. Where he's Anyway, we don't have to
change it to where he starts a bank and promotes communism.
Waves a Chinese flag. Wait a minute. What is this? Oh, it's the producer's cut.
Tyler Durden is a commie.
Yeah. So there you go. That's sort of the Neuralink news. And this is competition. This is Observer taking maybe some little tips from the CEO of BlackRock but a little healthy competition is probably good for the space in general. But I was curious about what kind of technologies, like what is it that they're so far behind on? Like, I get that Elon is doing stuff that's, older experiments or whatever. So I kind of went digging around and, I didn't find a whole lot. There was a Daily Beast article that echoed the same sentiments here. Experts are ringing alarms about Elon Musk's brain implants. But I did find a couple new brain technology breakthrough articles from just a couple days ago. This is Interesting Engineering. A new brain sensor maps the human brain with record-breaking accuracy. And it says here, a team of engineers and neurosurgeons developed a state-of-the-art brain sensor that could greatly enhance the treatment of cancer and epilepsy. According to a press conference from the University of San Diego, the new apparatus can record electrical signals from the brain's surface in a never-before-seen resolution for such a device. The breakthrough opens up new possibilities for brain-computer interfaces, such as the ones being developed by Elon Musk's Neuralink. Not only will this help to improve diagnosis of deadly diseases, it also has the potential to transform our understanding of the human brain. I think what the BlackRock guy doesn't understand, and maybe he's in competition with Elon over this type of stuff, but he doesn't, Neuralink doesn't have to develop all the cutting edge technologies. Because they need other companies to do it, and then they can buy them. It's very similar to what Facebook did with Instagram. Somebody's going to come out, they're going to have a platform or whatever. I'm sure Elon has some dry powder to go in, buy some of these bigger companies that have promise, and they'll all be part of the Neuralink family, and he'll be up to speed on all the tech.
Well, Elon's even admitted that. I believe it was during the Happy Pig demonstration that he did. He basically said, we haven't invented anything new here. We're just showing that we can take the technology that already exists and put the different pieces together to do what we want.
Right.
That's generally what Elon does. He hasn't invented any new technology, but he's taking technology that exists and makes it work together to just do stuff better. I mean, space flight, obviously. Well, I guess you can contest that in any number of ways, but spaceflight theoretically already existed. He just took it, added some other technology and made it better. Same with Tesla. Already existed. He added AI, did more stuff. Already existed, put it together, made it better. I mean, that's what he does. This idea that Elon is like creating technology out of whole cloth isn't true, and I don't think that he claims that that's true.
Right.
But at the risk of being called an Elon fanboy, I will leave that to people to go find the clip.
This new sensor is 100 times thinner than the ECOG sensors used today, and the new tech can allow us to merge with AI with all the mapping capabilities. So yeah, I think this is all developing, and Neuralink and BlackRock whatever they're called. What are they called? Sorry, hold on. BlackRock. Where did it go? I lost it. BlackRock Neurotech. There it is.
Sweet name.
I think they'll be the forefront when it comes to this type of technology. So we'll have to see. Let's see. Yeah. Let me. That's it for all that stuff. This. There was one more. Sorry. I'm trying to organize here. One more device here. This is from TASS, TASS.com. It's a Russian news agency, Basil. TASS. Headline here: scientists discover brain mechanism capable of improving neurocomputer systems. So this
brain mechanism.
Yeah. Experts at Immanuel Kant Baltic Federal University have discovered a brain mechanism that improves the efficiency of information exchange. The discovery will help create better neurocomputer interfaces to assess the state of drivers and other workers who make decisions in an uncertain environment, the university's press service told TASS on Monday. The authors studied the peculiarities of the brain's ability to perceive information with the help of a... Oh, excuse me. Whoa. That was...
Burp the baby.
Burp. Sorry about that. My body couldn't handle the next few words that were coming out, which is that the authors studied the peculiarities of the brain's ability to perceive information with the help of Necker's cube experiment. It is a well-known optical illusion consisting of an image of a two-dimensional cube drawn in an ambiguous way with no indications as to its orientation, so it can be interpreted differently depending on the viewer's perception. Signals reflecting the subject's brain electrical activity when analyzing the orientation of the cube's face showed that the alpha rhythm power decreased and the beta rhythm power increased. The more difficult it was for the participants to make a decision, the more intense the process was. So, again, basically the point here being that they found something in the brain that will help neurocomputer systems, organize better or something. So yeah, it's interesting how it's not just the discovery of the technology that's moving this forward. It's actually mechanisms of the brain, which are equally pushing the development of a neuro brain computer interface technology, connection to be firmer, more accurate, whatever it may be. So just thought that a lot of interesting things going on with the neuro connectivity topic there. But let's do some space. You want to take one of these, Basil? Since there's different stories.
Giving me the fairy tale stories, huh?
What do you mean fairy tale stories?
Space doesn't exist, bro.
Oh. Okay, that's what you meant.
Yeah, you got a jingle for it, or we just
I do. I just
yay.
can't find it for some reason. And here it is.
Space. Wanna go to space?
This is a fun one, Gonz. BBC.co.uk. Headline: SpaceX out of control rocket could crash into the moon.
Wow.
Could. Just sort of in theory. An out of control
anything could happen.
I know. Well, there you go. BBC. An out of control SpaceX rocket is on course to hit the moon and could do so in a matter of weeks, according to experts. Wow, that's a long time. The Falcon 9 booster was originally launched from Florida in February 2015 as a part of an uncrewed mission to send a weather satellite into space. However, the million-mile journey saw the 4-ton rocket run out of fuel, and it has been drifting ever since. 4 tons doesn't seem heavy enough for a Falcon 9 rocket.
Maybe it's empty.
Yeah, that's probably it. I guess they got to keep it light. I guess that's kind of the whole point. Space observers have predicted that the rocket will hit the far side of the moon near the equator on the 4th of March. The far side is going to go around the moon and crash on the back side of the moon. How does that happen? SpaceX is a private space company. We know that. Falcon 9 booster is being referred to as space junk. Space junk are the objects that we've left behind in space. They include things like old satellites, toolkits accidentally dropped by astronauts, or in this case, a massive out-of-control rocket. The rocket is being tracked by astronomers, including Bill Gray, a data scientist who tracks near-Earth objects. He said it's the first unintentional case of space junk hitting the moon that he is aware of. As for whether people will be able to see the collision from Earth, Mr. Gray thinks this is unlikely. Quote, "The bulk of the moon is in the way." Huh? That's a weird way to say that it's going to crash on the back of the moon. Yeah, it's going to crash on the moon, but there's going to be a bunch of moon in the way. And even if it were on the near side, the impact occurs a couple days after new moon, he said. Jonathan McDowell, an astrophysicist at Harvard University, tweeted that the impact is interesting, but ultimately not a big deal. Oh, well, now I'm suspicious. However, the new crater may allow scientists to learn something about the geology of that part of the moon. Well, there's looking on the bright side, astrologists, astronomers, whatever your names are.
This is all prep.
I think that Elon's got a plan.
This is all prep, folks.
Remember?
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. The Israeli...
the tardigrades.
Tardigrades that crashed on the moon.
Yep.
There's actual wormicorns on the moon.
Yep.
And this is who knows what they're getting up to up there. Perhaps growing, learning, waiting, watching. And I think maybe Elon disguised his... Actually, I guess the launch of this happened way before the Israeli tardigrades, now that I think about it. Who knows what's happening, man?
He had it all planned.
No, it's all part of the plan.
He said it'll drift in space for 7 years, and then it'll rendezvous with the tardigrades.
Yes, and then it's a spaceship that's filled with little tardigrade mech suits. And so the tardigrades, once they receive their shipment of tiny mech suits, nanobot mech suits, they can begin construction on the Wormicorn space base, which will, serve as this sort of military outpost against the war against the Xenobots, which, of course, we've covered extensively in the past, and I don't need to go into. But thanks, Elon, for your crazy
Space Force.
out of control rocket.
Okay, I'm going to play this now.
Space Force. Space Force.
Spaceship.
Space Force.
Nice. Dang, you got to play the space song at the end of the show today for the mixtape.
The whole Space Force song?
Yeah, that's a cool song. Is there a longer version?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, yeah, probably should play that. I was thinking the new one from producer Mike, is it?
Oh,
Mike?
no, we'll play that one.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So speaking of which, this is interesting from TASS again, the Russian news agency, published on the 25th of January. Headline: Russia, China set to sign lunar station deal soon. Envoy. Beijing.
Oh, I did see this. Yeah.
A Russia-China intergovernmental agreement on cooperation in establishing a lunar station is actually ready and may be signed shortly, Russia's ambassador to China, Andrei Denisov, announced at a press conference on Tuesday. Quote, "The agreement is practically ready and it seems that it may be signed quite soon," the diplomat said. He recalled that all states had been invited to participate in setting up an international lunar station. Quote, "As far as I know, agreement on particular researches are in process of their signing today. Such agreements have been signed with 11 countries and international organizations, including with Russian research organizations," the ambassador said. As the Russian envoy said, quote, "A certain legal framework in this sphere is already available." The diplomat specified that this involved a long-term program of cooperation. The Chinese media earlier reported that the program envisaged unmanned flights, following which a lunar station would begin to be set up in about 2035. As a whole, Russian-Chinese cooperation in outer space is developing, quote, "well and fruitfully," the ambassador stressed. That sounds like something an evil villain would say. How is the Russia-China space cooperation going? Well and fruitful.
And fruitfully.
Currently, Russia and China are interacting under a program of cooperation in outer space for 2018 to 2022. A new 5-year program is being prepared to replace it, the ambassador said. So, a lot going on with the moon. It's interesting. We've had this weird spike of Antarctica, space, moon, some of Mars, but more so moon stuff. And now nation states.
Oh,
moving.
Mars is old news. Nobody's talking about Mars anymore.
Yeah.
That's the crazy. I mean, that's the example. It's exemplary of what we're talking about with these trends. You might think like, they're always talking about stuff and it's just, you're just kind of like picking it out. Like, no, nobody's talking about Mars. When was the last time anybody heard anything about Mars recently?
There are some stories about Mars out recently saying that some samples from like 20 years ago or something like that don't signify life on Mars. That story got shared around a lot.
Story.
No,
Yeah,
it's not a cool story. It's very boring.
New, no new information.
Right.
Literally a report about information from 20 years ago.
But they're just discovering that it does not prove, like they found some organic material on the asteroids or whatever, but it doesn't signify life on Mars.
Well, we're not talking about Mars. Forget you, Mars. Boring.
Boring.
It's all about the moon and Antarctica. But back to the story here. In the broader conversation about China and Russia and this sort of
partnership.
The acting like allies. I mean, they have a space program to build a base on the moon together. Like that's not a casual relationship.
Think about it. They're going to have a honeymoon.
That's at least second base when it comes to countries having a relationship with one another.
Call back to Earth for the hugs from the robots.
Yeah.
the base's analogy is second base.
That is not insignificant. Russia and China are at least at second base.
Xi and Putin. You heard it here first. Xi and Putin, second base, folks. Getting ready for their honeymoon.
It's, they haven't built it yet, but they're talking about building a home together. I mean, they're playing around with the idea of like, in that fun flirty stage of meeting someone, and you kind of jokingly talk about what kind of life you would live together. That's Russia and China right now. They're very flirty. It's very fun and flirty over there. And, the U.S. is just some sort of big bully who keeps... He's a good enemy. No, here's what it is. Okay, so Russia and China, they're kind of they're the outcasts. Nobody really likes them in high school, in Earth High School, but because they're both the outcasts, they kind of find each other. They understand each other. They start spending some more time together, and they both can like stand off at a distance and kind of play pranks on the popular kid America, and they bond over it. And they're at the point now where they're kind of like, hey, this could actually be something. We could live on the moon together. Yeah, that would be great. It's kind of like planning a vacation with, you know what I mean? Like we should go on a trip.
I'm just picturing
let's take a road trip together to
the
moon.
Those phone calls between Xi and Putin, romanticizing about this moon station. We could have big photo of me, Xi. And
that is a great idea. You're so beautiful.
Yes.
I would love giant painted portrait of you riding on horse, hanging in my grand hall of my moon base. Oh, we could get a hot tub in the moon base. I don't know what happened to my accent right there, but I was just so excited. Gee, we could get a hot tub at the moon base.
Turning into Arnold.
Oh, it's Arnold. Oh, I'm here.
It's okay.
Can I hang out with you guys? I have a hot tub.
We change ending of movie anyway. It's okay. We change you too.
Arnold, Austria. Is he Austrian?
Yeah.
Yes, he's jealous. He wants to go to the moon with China, but
this is when I see. I wish I had a little bit more access because then I can pull out the "screw your freedom" from Arnold.
Yes, he gets very jealous.
Yeah.
Okay.
Real jelly.
Yeah, I love the end of the show here. Things go completely off the rails, we can do.
There's one more thing to note.
Oh, no, you're good. I understand. The show keeps moving on, but it's always this third block of the show that the accents start coming out. Like the imaginary romances between world leaders start getting theorized.